Hey there, listeners. Welcome to Relationship Hunt, where I, Red, delve into the captivating world of Reddit relationships to bring you the most compelling and thought-provoking stories. So sit back, relax, and join me on this thrilling quest for love and understanding. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more. My friend is flirting with boyfriend. Now he wants an apology from me. My former friend Victoria stayed over at my house with me and my boyfriend Luke last weekend. This is a long post, but I think it's important to include all the details in order to fully understand the situation and determine if I should apologize to my boyfriend. After dropping off Victoria's bags at our house, we went out to dinner. She started telling me about men cheating on their partners for her, as she is a well-known actress who can easily catch a man's attention. I tried to counsel her through those bad choices, but I won't go into detail about it here for the sake of brevity. When we arrived at the restaurant, Luke was already on his way to meet us. I had complete faith in my partner of over 10 years and didn't think anything would happen between them. However, Victoria's behavior suddenly changed, and I could see another side of her. She kept saying how much she wanted to see Luke and checked her appearance in a reflection multiple times. Luke sat next to me when he arrived, which visibly annoyed Victoria. She pulled me aside to the bathroom and kept asking if she didn't look pretty enough. I assured her that she did, but I didn't understand why she was so stressed about it since it was just the three of us. Victoria then began giving Luke seductive looks and touching his arm whenever she could. Eventually, she started cuddling up to Luke, holding his arm with her head on his shoulder and her leg resting on his. Luke held my hand to reassure me and hopefully send Victoria the message that he was taken. Here's where things get complicated. Victoria eventually moved away from Luke to another seat, but Luke chose to go and sit with her, engaging in deep conversation. As all of this was happening, I started questioning if I was reading too much into it. After all, we were all friends, right? It wasn't until later that night that I realized how messed up the situation was, and that Victoria was truly trying to pursue something with Luke. I pulled Luke aside and expressed my discomfort, telling him I planned to talk to Victoria about it. However, Luke advised me not to say anything and assured me that he would handle it. He said that by acting unfazed, Victoria would eventually stop. I trusted him and decided to focus on my other friends in the room. However, as the night went on, I felt let down by my partner for not intervening and sending a message to Victoria that her behavior was unacceptable and disrespectful towards me. I'm sure Luke enjoyed the attention from a celebrity, despite his denial. Additionally, remaining polite was partly because Victoria brings in significant income for my business. While this doesn't justify what happened, it provides context as to why I didn't immediately confront her. Eventually, we left and headed home together. Luke and Victoria linked arms while I walked alone in front. When we arrived home, they both sat together on the couch. We played games for a while, and Luke made a point of partnering with me, leaving Victoria to partner with our other friend. However, Victoria continued to sit closely to Luke, whispering in his ear. Credit to Luke, he pulled away and told her to talk to someone else. Later in the night, they continued to chat one-on-one, ignoring my attempts to join the conversation. Feeling ignored and hurt, I left the room. This was around 7 or 8 a.m. I expected my partner to understand the hint, leave Victoria and join me in the bedroom. However, Luke and Victoria kept talking in the lounge for another 2 hours until Victoria had to leave for a hair appointment. I must admit that my actions were toxic in this situation. I accidentally dropped my phone outside the room they were in and used my headphones on the phones listening, setting to hear their conversation. They were discussing politics in the current war, so I can confirm that they didn't cheat on me. However, I was disappointed by my partner's lack of loyalty and heartbroken to realize that my close friend wasn't as trustworthy as I thought. I walked back into the lounge just as Victoria was saying goodbye to Luke, kneeling over him and holding his arm, expressing how much she enjoyed their time together. The intimate moment quickly broke up once they noticed me entering the room. When Victoria thought I had left and couldn't hear them, she invited Luke to leave and go to her hair appointment with her. Thankfully, Luke declined. Eventually, Luke and I went to bed. I told him I didn't want him to message Victoria at all. In response, Luke asked me to message her myself because he was concerned that we had stayed up all night and she had an appointment to go to. By this point, I was upset and felt disrespected by my friend's actions. I believed that Luke had allowed the situation to continue by spending so much time with Victoria. I refused to check up on her, but Luke kept pressuring me to message her repeatedly, which eventually led to me snapping and telling him that he cared more about Victoria's well-being than mine, despite having to endure a horrible experience for over 10 hours. Luke continued to insist that I message Victoria until I finally left in tears to seek support from my sister. Victoria packed up and left later that day, and Luke has been angry with me for the past 3 days because of my emotional reaction and the way I stormed out of the house. He refuses to speak to me until I apologize for not handling the situation better and for accusing him of not supporting me while someone disrespected me. He believes that he shouldn't be so kind to someone who betrayed his girlfriend. The next day, I called Victoria and confronted her about her behavior, expressing how hurt I was that she disrespected me after I had welcomed her into my home. I ended the conversation by telling her not to contact me or Luke again. Since the incident, I have cut her out of my life. In hindsight, there are many ways I could have handled the situation better. I regret not trusting my instincts and being more assertive at the time. Instead, I tried to navigate the situation without overreacting, which ended up being too passive. Now the question is, do I owe my boyfriend an apology for accusing him of not supporting me enough when I was blatantly disrespected? Wow, that sounds like a really challenging situation to navigate. It's understandable that you felt hurt and disrespected by both your friend and your boyfriend's actions. While it might be worth apologizing for storming out of the house if it caused any unnecessary tension, it's important for your boyfriend to also understand how his behavior made you feel. Communication and understanding are key in any relationship, so hopefully you both can have an open and honest conversation to work through this together. How can I come back from a poor reaction to a gift my boyfriend got me? I am feeling like the world's biggest jerk right now, and I don't even know how to begin to make up for it. I've been going through a bit of a difficult time lately, and while I was at work today, my boyfriend told me he was getting me a gift since I've been feeling down. He was hyping it up and saying how much I was going to like it. I wasn't expecting anything expensive or crazy, but the way he was talking about it, I was definitely curious about what it could be. I will say that I am a known good gift giver. I take mental notes on people's likes and dislikes and put a lot of thought into what they would love, even if it's something small. I really enjoy giving gifts. I'm not often on the receiving end of gifts, and I realize now that it was a mistake to assume other people are as attentive to detail as I am. I got home from work and my boyfriend asked me to sit down. He then brought me out a gift, an edible arrangement, chocolate-covered fruit and some cupcakes. I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, and because of this I am not good at hiding my emotions or pretending. I wear my feelings on my face and I was definitely a little surprised. Firstly, while I had no expectations, the way he kept saying I was going to love it, I never would have thought it was an edible arrangement. If he had said nothing about a gift and I came home to that, I would have been genuinely surprised, like receiving a bouquet of flowers. Secondly, I am not a fan of sweets. I consume very little sugar, I don't enjoy candy, and the only sweets I make or bring home are for my boyfriend. After some reflection, I realized that not everyone pays as much attention to detail about others' preferences as I do, which is why I mentioned it earlier. It all happened so quickly, and once it did, I couldn't take back my initial reaction. My face gave it away and my boyfriend was immediately disappointed that I didn't have the reaction he wanted. He said that I didn't like it. I tried to explain that I was just caught off guard because I wasn't expecting it, but I genuinely appreciated it and that he had thought about how down I've been lately and went out of his way to do something for me. He asked if I thought I was getting an iPad or something expensive, and I said absolutely not. He went on to say he couldn't believe I could be disappointed, that it wasn't cheap, and he was upset that he wasted his money on it. I instantly felt terrible and like an ungrateful jerk. I truly appreciate the gesture, the thoughtfulness, that he loves me and cares about me, and that he works very hard to afford dates and things like that. But because of my initial reaction, he won't believe any of that. He's very upset with me and I can't convince him that I am sincere in my appreciation for him and that he is a thoughtful and kind person. How can I possibly make it up to him? I know gifts are more about the thought and intention. I was just genuinely caught off guard and I'm beating myself up for my reaction. Hey, don't beat yourself up too much. It's understandable that you were caught off guard by the gift, especially after he hyped it up. Just because it wasn't what you expected doesn't mean you're ungrateful. Maybe you can sit down with your boyfriend and have a heart-to-heart conversation about how you genuinely appreciate his thoughtfulness, and explain that your reaction was more about surprise than disappointment. Communication is key here, and I'm sure he'll understand. I feel abandoned since my girlfriend started her new job. My partner and I have been together for almost 2 years now. She graduated with her master's last May, and before that, the two of us were pretty much always together. We had an instant connection and spent almost all our free time together. She was working full-time and doing her master's while I finished my degree, so it was challenging at times, but we made it work. However, things changed when she graduated and started her new job. She went from being present and emotionally available to working long hours and being emotionally distant. Now she either comes home and goes straight to sleep, we don't live together, or she cancels plans we made together to spend time with her friends or do something alone. Whenever I express my hurt about this, she gets angry and starts screaming at me. Just to be clear, I have never tried to keep her away from her social circle. I just want to be a part of her life instead of feeling left out. She has stopped calling and texting me like she used to, and our little routines have disappeared. I've tried to suggest new ones, but she refuses or claims she doesn't have the time or energy. I know she's burnt out, so I've been understanding and respectful of that. However, it's becoming increasingly difficult to be considerate when I see her making time for others and neglecting our relationship. I want her to have a strong social life, but I also want to feel loved and desired like I used to. We used to spend a significant amount of time together every day, enjoying each other's company. Now, it seems like her job, friends, and family are her top priorities. I have communicated my feelings to her, explaining how hurt and unwanted I feel, but all she says is that she doesn't have any answers for me. I'm torn because she used to be amazing to me before she started her new job. She was consistent, accountable, affectionate, and intimate. She spoke life into our relationship. Since then, everything has changed. We've discussed my desire for her presence and our need to spend quality time together like we used to, or create new rituals and habits because I'm feeling lonely. Her response was simply to suggest that I spend more time with my friends. If I don't initiate contact, I don't hear from her, and if I don't make plans, nothing happens. I feel like I'm putting in all the effort while feeling worn down, unappreciated, unseen, and unheard. Am I wasting my time? It sounds like your girlfriend's new job has taken a toll on her and changed the dynamic of your relationship. It's understandable that you feel hurt and neglected, especially when she prioritizes her friends over spending time with you. Communication is key here, but it seems like you've already expressed your concerns to her and she hasn't been able to provide any solutions. It might be worth having another serious conversation about your needs and evaluating whether you're still getting what you want out of the relationship. I just found out my BFF's boyfriend cheated on her. How can I tell her? My best friend and I have grown incredibly close over the past year, and our boyfriends happen to be brothers. Her relationship has been challenging, and there were previous attempts to break up. This was mainly fueled by his lack of effort, love, etc. However, she decided to give it another chance. Last week, my suspicions were triggered when my boyfriend shared some disturbing comments made by her boyfriend while he was drunk, including body shaming and inappropriate discussions. Things escalated a couple of days ago when my best friend informed me that her boyfriend had blocked her on Facebook. Upon investigating, I found out he was interacting, liking photos, posts, tagging with a coworker on social media, and my concerns deepened. I brought this to her attention, and she confronted him, but he denied everything, essentially gaslighting her. He never denied liking her, and he even made a comment that was a bit of a red flag for me. It went at this point, I wouldn't even care after she asked if he would like it, if she did the same thing to him. She was still suspicious but expressed to me that she was sure he didn't do anything physical with her after their interaction. Fast forward to now, 10 minutes ago, my boyfriend gets home from hanging out with his friends and he happened to be there. In short, he confirms my suspicions. He tells me that he has been cheating and he even provided details to him. What's more infuriating is that he shared with my boyfriend how he almost got caught and has been trying to act casual today, texting my best friend as if nothing happened. He literally has been all lovey-dovey. He doesn't even text her usually. I'm torn about how to share this information with my best friend without revealing that my boyfriend disclosed it. He's on her side and doesn't condone her boyfriend's actions, but I want to respect his request to keep his involvement out of it to avoid unnecessary drama. I've never dealt with anything like this before. I'm feeling a mix of anger, sadness, and frustration for my friend, especially because we've been part of many couple activities with them. I never expected this from him. It's a difficult situation for me personally, but my focus is on supporting her. Despite the emotional turmoil, I am determined to be there for her. She's been working hard on self-improvement, hitting the gym consistently for almost a year, and I believe she'll emerge from this stronger than ever. I want to ensure she's okay through this tough time. If anyone has advice on navigating this delicate conversation without implicating my boyfriend directly and supporting a friend in the aftermath of infidelity, I would greatly appreciate it. That's such a messed up situation I feel for you and your friend. It's good that you want to be there for her and support her. One way to approach it could be to gently bring up your concerns and suspicions without mentioning your boyfriend's involvement. Just let her know that you've noticed some red flags and you're there to support her no matter what. It's important to be understanding and non-judgmental during this tough time. Good luck. I am thinking of ending a relationship with my partner because I don't feel appreciated or respected. My partner and I have been dating for 2 years and living together for 1. We generally have great chemistry and love each other, and we also have a lot of shared interests. However, I've always felt like I don't receive enough affection or appreciation from my partner. Before we moved in together, I communicated to him respectfully that affection is important to me in our intimacy, and I've been missing it since he never initiates cuddling unless it's right after sex. He acknowledged my concerns but hasn't made an effort to change. I always have to ask for affection, and he jokes as if it annoys him but eventually complies. He has certain kinks and intimacy needs that I hadn't tried before meeting him, and although I've been open to trying them, I don't have a strong preference for them. Since living together, I've repeatedly communicated that it would mean a lot to me if he initiated affection sometimes. Additionally, I take on most of the household responsibilities, such as cooking and cleaning. I even clean things he never touches, like filters, the toilet, windows, microwave, and oven. We work the same hours and earn similar amounts of money, so financially we split everything equally. However, I feel like I put more effort into satisfying his intimate needs than he does for me, and now I feel the same about household chores. I regularly cook healthy, balanced meals from scratch, and while he compliments my cooking, sometimes it's not enough after dedicating hours to cleaning and preparing everything. I take care of myself, work out, and put effort into looking good. I receive a lot of validation from others, but not from him. Occasionally he'll compliment me on my appearance when I dress up or during sex, but most compliments come from everyone except him. Another issue is that he tends to shut down and avoid me for days when we argue. The other day, everything seemed fine. I made dinner and cleaned the kitchen, but he came home looking annoyed or angry. I asked multiple times if something was wrong, but he dismissively said no without even looking at me and spent the rest of the evening on his phone. I gave him space, assuming it wasn't related to me. He didn't approach me until a whole day later, by which point I was already upset. He offered to make food, but I declined and made my own dinner. We ignored each other for 2 more days until I finally approached him and asked what he was mad about. He turned the tables on me, claiming that I had been the one ignoring him, and we started fighting. During the fight, he mocked me by imitating how I speak and called me names like thick-brained and stupid. He also claimed that I always complain about trivial things like the lack of affection and appreciation. When I pointed out his minimal effort, he scoffed and dismissed me. He doesn't hold back with insults or putting me down during arguments, but when things are good, he struggles to show love. All of this has made me very angry, and I suggested that maybe we shouldn't be together if that's how he feels. We said more hurtful things to each other, and we separated for the evening, each going to our own rooms. I'm finding it difficult to be objective since I'm hurt and angry. In the past, I've clearly and lovingly communicated my desire for more affection and verbal validation. Although he verbalized agreement and promised to try, he rarely made any effort. And even when he did try, I made sure to express my appreciation. Despite always supporting and doing what my partner wants, hearing him call my needs bullshit made me feel like he doesn't respect me or take my needs seriously. From my current perspective, it seems impossible to move past the hurtful things that were said, and I no longer see our relationship in the same light. I'm unsure if there is a way to overcome this that I'm not seeing. It sounds like you've communicated your needs and concerns to your partner multiple times, but he hasn't made much effort to change. The lack of affection and appreciation, as well as the insults during fights, are serious issues that shouldn't be overlooked. It's important to prioritize your own happiness and well-being, so if you feel like you don't see your relationship the same way anymore, it might be worth considering moving on. My boyfriend cheated on me with his ex. Is it even worth working through it? I met my boyfriend when I was 21, and he was 25. My older brother and him worked together, and I met him when they were out together. We hit it off about a month after, but it was never anything serious until almost a year later when we had our first official date. He was pretty clear with me that he had just gotten out of a relationship with his ex. He told me that even though he felt something for me, he wanted to be completely over her before we got serious. He told me that it was my choice if I wanted to wait or not, but that he felt what he felt, and he would be understanding of the choice I made. We were like friends with benefits during this time. He talked very much about his feelings and was very open with me about all of it. During this time, I also learned about his daughter, who was 6 at the time. He had a very close relationship with her, so I also learned very quickly that she would always come first. I also learned during this time why their relationship ended. They both cheated on each other, and their relationship was toxic. However, they were trying their best to be friends for their daughter's sake. I was okay with all of this. I met his ex 3 times before I met his daughter, and I got along very well with both of them. It was very clear that there were no remaining feelings for each other, so we all continued to grow. His ex and I became close, and I know my boyfriend was planning to propose to me. His daughter never called me mom, but she said that I was an extremely important person in her life. We all went out often together, me, my boyfriend, his ex, and her boyfriend. We all were a perfect little blended family. However, about 3 months ago, the worst thing that anyone could have ever imagined came true. His daughter was in a fatal car crash caused by her friend's dad, driving under the influence. She died on impact. We all were devastated. My boyfriend slept in the shower, his ex had a mental breakdown, and I couldn't stop crying for more than a week. Her loss devastated us all more than anything ever could. My boyfriend and his ex started spending more time one-on-one. He got better quicker, so he would cook meals or help her clean. As I had to work and her boyfriend too, my boyfriend stepped up for her, which I admired at the time. All 4 of us tried to help each other, but her boyfriend and I understood that while we were devastated too, it was nothing compared to how they were feeling. We both gave them space but were still there for them. But then last week my boyfriend came home, and he had spent the night at his ex's because her boyfriend was on a work trip. He immediately said, "I slept with her." I was confused and just sat there, not feeling anything. I had been thinking about this for a whole week now. I don't know what I feel or what I am allowed to feel. Everything has been going on as normal since he told me. We haven't talked about it. Her boyfriend knows about this and they broke up, but I feel like I can't be mad at 2 people who are grieving so much. I can't express my emotions because I just got cheated on while he lost his child. I feel like it was a part of their grieving, a part of healing, but why did their healing have to hurt me? Am I even allowed to feel hurt? While I love my boyfriend more than anything, will I be able to look at him the same and feel the same love when things become better? Is there any way to save this, or should I walk away? Should I talk to him or should I not? I am so lost. Wow, I can't even begin to imagine what you're going through. It sounds like an incredibly tough situation for everyone involved. It's completely normal to feel confused and unsure about your emotions right now. It's important to take the time to process everything and figure out what you truly want and need. Maybe having an open and honest conversation with your boyfriend could help provide some clarity and see if there's a way to move forward together. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.